So long before he used the term servant leader, he was a servant leader because Dave has always invested himself in developing the gifts and the abilities of others.
Servant leadership is the idea that leaders prioritize the greater good and improving the wellness of the community and putting service above self.
This idea that the servant leader never stops learning, never stops growing, never stops finding ways to serve. I mean, it's leadership in action. And you can look at he'll have it embroidered on his sleeves to remind himself to put other people first.
When we began our Masters in Servant Leadership back in 1999, people wanted to know, how do you practice servant leadership? And we would say, look to Dave Scogan.
I think one of the really neat things that I've heard Dave say several times recently is, I've had one job, one life, and I've lived in one community, and he truly feels like he's been blessed by this community, and giving back is important to him.
It's a pretty simple concept. It's spiritually based, but we define servant as one who identifies and meets legitimate needs of others. Identifies, if I see somebody that's having a bad day, I'm going to identify that and I'm going to do my best to make it better for them. Leadership is a skill of influencing people. Key word, influence. If I don't have influence with the people working for me in the department, if I'm a produce manager, for example, I'm just taking a walk. They don't care for me. If I'm puffy and arrogant, I can't influence them. So as a leader, you just influence people, and it's a lot of people flirt with that idea, but until we get it into our game, it's nothing. None of us have arrived. It's as simple as that. We just got to keep pushing ourselves to excellence.
He initially wanted to be a coach, and lo and behold, he's now coached thousands of people who have worked for him and with him.
When I was appointed CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, Dave was one of the first people that I went to go see, and I sat in his office at the Festival Support Center, and he talked to me about leadership and about serving others, just how important the role is to give back.
Dave's always talked to me about mentorship, and I've always taken that to heart, whether it was him being mentored by Reinhardt or Zietlow in their meetings that they would always have when Dave was up and coming. Dave kind of took me by the hand, and we sat at the festival board room in his office as well many times. And I really appreciate that mentorship that he's given me, because it inspires me to want to be a mentor to many up-and-comers as well.
One of our More Than Just Great Dancing affiliated studio owners was recounting how they learned something from Dave. So I snapped a picture of that and sent that to Dave, and he got on the phone and called her and sent a copy of his book. I mean, who does that? He's never going to meet her in person. This person doesn't live in our community. They're over on the east side of the United States, but he took that time to encourage a young entrepreneur to keep going in her own journey. That's pretty profound. There may be a child dancing, let's just say in California, who gets inspired by a teacher, who is inspired by me because I was inspired by Dave. That's a ripple effect. That's pretty powerful stuff.
I didn't realize it, but somebody said, you talk about that being a coach, that's what you're doing now with thousands of people. And perhaps that's part of the reason why I wasn't perhaps as loved as I would have liked to have been, because I would hold people accountable. How do you behave? What's acceptable and why? Coach, teach, remind more than instruct. Theodore Roosevelt said one time, or I read where he said, what we do for ourselves dies when we do. What we do for others lives forever. And it just makes so much sense. So we enjoy giving. We found joy in giving. So it's gratitude. And you just feel, whether it be the school that's coming to you and asking you for $50 for some little fundraiser they got, or somebody that's from one of the hospitals coming to you for asking you for a major gift. that the company or you and Barb are going to give. And it just, we found joy in giving, and you know, we just learned that we were born takers. You know, babies take, children take, and boy, when you learn to give, it just comes back to you tenfold. I just absolutely love it, and because I do have people coming up to me that I don't even recognize. Perhaps they're not even customers of ours, have said, thank you for that Boys and Girls Club, or thank you for Dash Park, or thank you what you did for acts of kindness at the high school. It's heartwarming. I mean, it's, you almost feel guilty because it makes you feel, you can't do something good for somebody else without getting some benefit back. It's just the way it is. There's something special about this community. I'm telling you, I've never seen the character and the willingness to give like we have here in La Crosse. Man, I'll tell you, the joy of giving is, I'm talking to the choir here, because these folks that are involved with the chamber and these folks that are here tonight, understand giving, finding joy in giving, and I just, I don't think it's a choice. I think it's an obligation.
Hello everybody. I just want to take a brief minute and congratulate my dad on his Chamber Community Service Award. I can't think of a more deserving person. Obviously growing up as a young kid, I saw my dad giving back wherever he could. He talked about it all the time and has still done it to this day. And it's been great for our culture at Festival. He's taught us that's the right thing to do. The community supports us. We want to give back in our communities to make it a better place to live, work, and play. And we're fortunate to be able to do that. And Dad, you set such a great role model for myself and for our business. And for that, I thank you and want to congratulate you again on a well-deserved award.